Welcome trainers, Watts here, and today we are going to be doing a commentary over a battle that I played on the championship battle spot the other day. So let's just jump into this battle. Obviously this is VGC doubles, and I am just currently practicing my ass off for the Dallas Regional, so I really want to do well at that. I will definitely let you guys know what's going on when that comes about. But anyway, I'm going to lead with my next lead matchup of Ninetales. My nice lead core of Ninetales and Kartana against his Tapu Koko and Metagross. So right now, I'm like, okay, I don't really care about a potential Bullet Punch coming out on Ninetales because actually I'm running the Focus Sash, and he does go for the Bullet Punch. So I live that, and I go for a Blizzard here, which actually, in hindsight, probably wasn't the best play because this Blizzard isn't going to do a lot to either Pokemon, but I'm also going for the Night Slash here on Kartana against that Metagross because I really want to take it out. But once you see this Metagross is extremely bulky, and it actually doesn't even get close to knocking out. But he goes for the U-turn on Tapu Koko, which was a pretty good switch here because he gets to Intimidate onto my Kartana, which is probably the reason why this Night Slash doesn't do nearly enough damage. But I actually get that freeze here on the Blizzard, so hey, it looks like Blizzard was the right play. But yeah, that's really unfortunate. His Gyarados gets frozen. But I mean, his Gyarados wasn't going to do a whole lot to my Kartana, so it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, Metagross eats up that intimidated Kartana's Night Slash. And here I'm in a relatively good position since this Gyarados is frozen. I'm going to go ahead and switch out my Ninetales because I don't want to lose it this soon in case he does decide to go for another Bullet Punch. So I actually switch into my Salamence, get the Intimidate off onto the Gyarados in case it unfreezes. And I'm just going to go for another Night Slash onto Metagross, just to get some damage going to potentially KO it with a future hit. And that does some good damage, so it'll die to another Night Slash, and the Gyarados just remains frozen, and the Metagross actually goes for an Earthquake here. So pretty good switch. Salamence isn't going to take anything from that, obviously. But we see here, this Kartana is so bulky. That was a critical hit, and it did 1/3 of my HP about? That's ridiculous. Kartana is such a bulky Pokemon when you invest in its HP. At that 131 defense, HP invested is ridiculous. It resists everything. Even that Earthquake, that unresisted hit, it ate so well. So he goes for the questionable Bullet Punch here onto Kartana. This does like 10 damage. So I'm not exactly sure what his reasoning was on that. But I'm just going to go ahead and go for a Rock Slide to do a bunch of damage to the Gyarados and potentially pick up a knockout on the Metagross, but it actually does barely anything on the Metagross. I thought it might have picked up a knockout, but no, not even close. So this is potentially questionable because it might have been more correct to leave the frozen Pokemon in, but I just decided to go for the free Beast Boost knockout with Kartana's Leaf Blade against the Gyarados. And, you know, not take any chances about the potential Unfreeze and Ice Fang and the Salamence or anything like that. So now his Metagross barely doesn't die to the Hail here, which is actually pretty crucial. He goes into the Porygon Z, and I see this thing and I'm like, okay, this thing is the biggest psychological psych out because I want this thing gone. Z conversion is so terrifying. I want this thing out of here. It needs to leave. So I go for the Rock Slide and the Sacred Sword. My Rock Slide actually misses the Porygon Z, so I'm thinking, dang, okay, is the Sacred Sword going to knock out? The Porygon Z doesn't flinch here, obviously, because the Rock Slide didn't hit, which is unfortunate that I didn't get that opportunity to potentially flinch him. And he just goes for the Ice Beam, picks up the knockout on Salamence. But I don't really need my Salamence anymore, other than just being faster than the Tapu Koko, since it has Choice Scarf. But the Sacred Sword actually picks up the one-hit knockout onto Porygon Z, which is insane. That's so good for me. So I get that a second Beast Boost, which is crazy. Now here is the deciding turn of the game. So I bring in Garchomp here, and I'm thinking, okay, the only way he wins this game is if he has the Z Fairy attack, because the Dazzling Gleam isn't going to knock out my Garchomp. I can fire back with a Earthquake and just pick up the double knockout here. So, with that in mind, you think, oh, hey, you should go for Protect on Garchomp just in case he does have it. But I'm thinking, no, there's no way he has it. He's just going to protect his Tapu Koko. No, he had it. He goes for it here. He picks up the one-hit knockout on my Garchomp, obviously. You have to watch this giant animation first before we get that information. But it obviously is happening. So, after this, all I have left is a Ninetales at 1 HP and my Kartana at like 20 HP. Guess what my Kartana decided to do this turn? Because I was so hellbent on the Tapu Koko protecting. I go for a Leaf Blade into the Metagross. A Metagross at like 1 HP that my Ninetales can just kill. The Hail wouldn't have killed it because it's actually expiring this turn. So I had that in mind. But why didn't I just attack the Tapu Koko? I could have just Leaf Bladed the Tapu Koko and attacked the other slot with my Garchomp. I just really expected a Dazzling Gleam or a Protect. So that was my fatal downfall, because now he's just going to Dazzling Gleam, pick up the double knockout, and that's GG right there. So really unfortunate misplays on my part. I had that game in the bag. Basically it was 3-1, because Metagross wasn't doing anything. But I just psyched myself out, misplayed pretty bad, and the Tapu Koko sweeps me. Tapu Koko is ridiculously powerful, and I really should have just played better. But this next game is a different story, so we can end on a more positive note of me being still bad, but less bad. So this is obviously also going to be on the Championship Battle Spot Ladder VGC doubles format, and I'm going to lead here with Garchomp Ninetales. He's going to lead with Cloyster Dragonite. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to break this multi-scale, even though the Hail would have just done that anyway. But I'm thinking I also want to get a super effective hit onto this Cloyster. So I actually go for the Rock Slide here, and I also go for the Aurora Veil with Ninetales just to get my team bulked up. And Rock Slide is also really good if he potentially switches to Mimikyu, break that Disguise, as the Hail would not have broken the Disguise. And I'm totally fine with the potential Ice-type attack coming out from Cloyster onto my Garchomp. I don't really need Garchomp against many of his Pokemon. Like, it would be, I guess, okay against Dragonite, but I can already hit that for a ton of damage with my Ninetales, so it's not really necessary. And obviously there's always flinch chances, so that's always a possibility. But yeah, he does go for the Icicle Spear, doesn't flinch, and picks up the obvious one-hit knockout, 4x super. Very powerful attack onto my Garchomp. So it actually takes all 5 hits. Was that all 5? Oh, whoa, that last one was like crit. Crit for 5 HP. Let's see how many. It was 4 times. So with that Aurora Veil, it actually had to go all the way to 4 hits, which is actually pretty crazy. Aurora Veil is honestly one of the most powerful moves I've seen in the entire game. It's just, it needs to be run on a Hail user, and Hail teams aren't particularly great in it right now, but getting access to Aurora Veil is really threatening, and especially on my current team of really bulky Pokemon like Kartana and Garchomp that just, with that Aurora Veil, become monster tanks. Or inherently bulky Pokemon that become monster tanks. But as you see here, this Mimikyu is going for a Z-move, the Fairy-type Z-move, against my Grass Steel type and my Ice Fairy type. He actually uses it on the Kartana. I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking. I don't know. I really just don't know. I'm just gonna go for the Smart Strike on the Mimikyu, pick up that one-hit knockout. I really expected him to Will-O-Wisp if he had it onto my Kartana, and I was okay with that because I feel like the Smart Strike would still pick up the knockout. Smart Strike plus Blizzard. So he's going for a Rock Blast here onto Ninetales, which is going to do a lot of damage, super effective, but Aurora Veil is broken because it only does over half. Or it actually does bring me down into red, I think. No, not even red. It doesn't even bring me down into red. So I'm at 31 HP. That obviously gets rid of my Focus Sash, but not a big deal because my Ninetales is faster than everything on this team except for this Crobat. So he brings in Crobat here, and I'm worried. I need my Ninetales for his Dragonite still, so I gotta switch that out. And I'm gonna bring in Arcanine because if he goes for a poison type attack, I'll be able to take that pretty well. And I also get the Intimidate off onto this Cloister and this Crobat. Both these physical attackers here. And my Kartana is just free to do whatever it wants. He actually goes for the Toxic on the Kartana. Just a unfortunate maybe misclick by my opponents, and or just ignorance. But I'm just going to go for the Leaf Blade on the Cloister and pick up that knockout. Get another Beast Boost going, and Kartana is just going to sweep as Kartana does, because he is my boy. He is such a good Pokemon. I love Kartana. And yeah, hail buffs all across the board. And he's going to bring in his Dragonite now. I'm thinking, okay, I can just Will-O-Wisp that with my Arcanine. Dragonite doesn't really threaten it. And it definitely doesn't threaten my Kartana, unless he randomly has a Flamethrower or something like that. But he's actually going to go for the Brave Bird here in the Kartana. He's actually going to double up with this Crobat Dragonite combo. But as you see, Kartana doesn't play around. Kartana eats up everything. And I just go for the Smart Strike, get that another one-hit knockout on the Crobat, get that another Beast Boost going. And now he goes for his attack with Dragonite. And he goes for an Outrage. So, I guess it wasn't really a double up. He kind of just banked on the Outrage hitting. But I go for the Wisp and miss, doesn't matter. The Hail is going to break the multi-scale here, and I can just go for a Smart Strike and pick up that kill on the Dragonite. So that's going to be a GG right there. So unfortunate misplays on my opponent's end. But hey, this new format, people still learning. There's a lot of new stuff to consider, a lot of rehashing to do with people who have been out of the game for a while. And yep, I pick up that game 3-0. And that's going to be it for today for our 2-game Battle Spot Championship Battle commentary. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out my other videos in this series. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to see my future uploads. And I'll see you later. Peace.